You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, joined by my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. The easiest way to remember is hit that subscribe button on your podcast platform that you're listening to now. Also, share with a friend on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. And also, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. We are in another standalone today, Kevin. This is episode 133.
133.
You don't have a communications problem.
Yep.
You don't.
You don't.
You do not.
Well, I mean, you may a little.
You might have one, but but not in this episode. You don't have one.
So here's my initial kind of goal for this.
Here we go.
I want to make your life easier, and I believe you can get more important work done with less effort in less time.
Oh.
And I know that sounds like an infomercial or Shark Tank episode or something like that.
I like
want to
Shark
make
Tank.
your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
You big fan of the Shark
I
Tank?
do like Shark Tank.
Nice.
I think it's incredible. Entrepreneurship.
So that's my pitch. I want to make your life easier. You can get more important work done with less effort in less time by doing one simple thing. Here we go.
Mark Cuban, tell me how many cells you got.
Yeah. So here's background on this. I've stepped into 5 organizations in my life. 3 as the leader, 2 as a staff member.
Yeah.
Every organization that I have stepped in, someone has said, we really have a communications problem.
Oh.
Sometimes it's just been a couple passing comments here and there. Sometimes it was the entire group. Oh, we have a communications problem, which was like, I don't know how to say this. That's hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
We have a communications problem? Like, how hard is communications? Like, this is what's coming up. This is what we decided. 5-10 minutes tops, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, it really can't be much more than that to go like, here's what happened. Here's what's coming up. Anyone have any questions? Communications problem over. But then I noticed this is that from team members, I heard we're bad at communications. But from leaders within the groups, I heard we're bad at execution. So the team members are saying, I don't know what's going on. The different leaders were saying, we're not getting done the things that we need to get done. And so if we could just like connect the dots on those two things really, really simply. Okay, communication is not just about information. Communication is about awareness. Say it as?
Yeah.
Like, information without context is not helpful. It's about that overall awareness of what is happening. Execution is about priority. Execution is really not just about carrying through the things that need to be done, but like proper execution is about understanding these are the things that need to get done.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone, I'm sure there's people out there, I'm sure, like, don't text us and be like, I'm that person. I don't know of anyone who shows up to work every day and like just sleeps in their office and gets nothing done. Like everyone would say, almost everyone I've met would say, oh, I'm doing stuff. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm busy. I'm working hard. Some of them I would call them liars, but everyone I've pretty much met says that. The issue is, are you getting the most important stuff done?
Yeah.
Are you getting the right stuff done? So we look at those two together. Team members say we have a communication problem, which is about awareness. Leaders say we have an execution problem, which is about priority. And what both those speak to is the lack of a clear vision. And I want to be really clear on what we're talking about, because sometimes the word vision gets so, people have made it so academic and so everything else, and it's this preferred future that you want to live into. It's the clarifying statement that you'll never reach. It's the light off in the distance that you're always walking towards. Like, all these have been thrown out as vision statements. This is what a vision really is. This is what I mean when I'm saying that. Simply, this is what we're trying to accomplish right now.
Yeah.
It could be 10 years. It could be a year. It could be 3 months. It could be this week. It's just this sense of this is absolutely what matters most right now, and this is the outcome we want to see from this. We need to get this done so this will happen. We need to accomplish this so that this will be different. And what I notice is, if I could say it like this, if your team is saying we have a communication problem and your leaders or you are feeling we have an execution problem, what you really have is a vision problem. What you really have is the lack of a rallying cry that calls people to engage deeply in what is most important right now. When that is in place, when you're aware, this week, this season, this year, this decade, this is what matters most. All of a sudden, all these like separate events, all these different things going on, all these decisions that have been made, people can automatically connect the dots. Like instead of just going, I don't know why they would decide that. No one asked me. I don't know why they thought of this because you've heard that or you've said that yourself. I don't know why they're doing that. If they knew what was going on at our level. No. My guess is they know. And all of a sudden, when you know what you're trying to accomplish, you easily connect the dots. And so all of a sudden, you have an awareness of what you're trying to do, which shores up the communication problem. This should take care of the execution problem.
Yeah.
Because you should have defined for everyone, hey, here's the priority. Here's what matters most. So what is happening is not the primary issue in communications, because most communications complaints are because people don't know why something is happening. And so I would just encourage you to say, hey, don't point to emails and texts and announcements when you hear we have a communications problem. Can we just acknowledge that?
Yeah.
Some people say, we have a communications problem. Well, I sent this email. I sent this text. I sent this. It could be like, when I say you might have a communications problem, that could be a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to train people to read the communications that are actually being sent out or to pay attention. But that's 5% of the picture. 95% of it is making it oh so clear what you're trying to accomplish so that execution and communication will naturally begin to take care of themselves.
Yeah. Man. Awareness. Communications is about awareness.
Yeah.
Execution is about priority.
Yes.
Talk about, and you did a little bit there, but talk about how they coexist. Because communications is an awareness of, hey, there's a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
We got all this stuff we need to do. And it needs to be done by this.
Yeah.
But if everything is a priority, nothing is a priority.
Yeah.
We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So break that down a little bit more for those who may be asking the question, how do we get all of it done by the deadline if it's all a priority?
Well, let me take this angle. Let me know if I'm hitting on what you're hoping for.
I think that's where people come to the
So when
crossroads.
I hear communications, let me talk church terms, then business terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It just church world. I don't know what the children's department's doing. I don't know what groups are doing.
Boo.
I don't understand why they do that in the worship service. Why would they do that? Why would they go through those things? Why would they interrupt the stuff for that announcement and those pieces and this announcement wasn't included? I just don't understand what's going on. Business world. I don't get why sales isn't. Why is marketing not showing this first instead of these other pieces here? My boss never seems to know what's going on in this area. He's so detached from what's taking place.
Yeah. He's
making this decision. And it doesn't compute with what we're doing down here at this level. Communication is, for so many people, I don't know what is taking place in every arena, and I understand that I am impacted by these other departments. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
By drawing the line and pointing to the direction, you can, I don't know how to say this any better than I'm going to say it, okay?
Yeah.
Intelligent people can naturally connect the dots if the vision is in place.
Right.
And you begin to become aware of those who can't grasp the breadth of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because if we say it as like, I believe it's the role of the leader to make it simple, to make it understandable, but there will always be a level of complexity to accomplishing great things. And I believe intelligent people naturally not just can connect the dots, but want to connect the dots.
Yeah.
and can see things taking place. They go, oh, that's awesome that you guys did that there. Did you do that here because of this? Some of you, I know some of those who are listening, this is ringing a bell right now.
Yeah.
Because you've had that. Oh, that was amazing that you did that. Because we were doing this, you did that, so this would happen like this. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Where those who can't hang, those who shouldn't be on the team, will just go, well, no one tells me what's going on.
Yeah. There's definitely a difference in the way they approach it.
Yes.
Connecting the dots, so important. The question, so recently you created here at Highland Park, let's just talk about this. This might be helpful, at least for me. You created a document that showed everything that the entire church is doing.
Yes.
Whether it's an outreach, whether it's a ministry, everything. And there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, right? In a great way, in a good way. You created that document. Now, there's not yet, as we speak today, a vision statement
Correct.
attached to that.
Correct.
But it doesn't stop us from marching towards what that document is actually saying is the priority.
Yep.
So because of that, without the vision statement attached, we still have a priority that we still need to move towards. Talk about what will happen when that vision statement is attached to that document and how that will actually accelerate the priority and the awareness both.
Yeah. Well, if I could, I can't lead without a target.
Right.
And so
is that the priority? The target is
yeah, I just don't get people who I don't have in me the ability to just show up week after week and try to make things a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I know that it may sound like I'm being ridiculous.
Yeah.
There you go. If I show up, I'm going to go, what are we trying to do?
Yeah.
There you go. A little bit better than last week. I'm out. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
That's exhausting to me.
I gotcha.
And so to say it is, we don't have right now, we don't have long-range goals in place.
Right.
And so I kind of took that first season and I set my own targets. And my first season was really about elevating cultural markers. We talked about that in some other episodes.
Yep.
It was about acclimation to different environments. I wanted with the staff within 6 weeks that it felt like I'd been here for months. I wanted within the church as a whole, by 3 months in, it felt like I'd been here for a year.
Yeah.
Because they were just used to it. We had enough repetition and enough contact with each other that it accelerated that process. And then immediately then, after kind of like 45, 50 days, we put a seasonal goal in place. For us, it was make FOMO work in our favor.
Yeah.
We want to make the fear of missing out. I want to be a part of. We actually want to guide and steer that in the direction we want it to go towards serving and being a part of the mission of what God is doing through this church here.
Yeah.
So hear that as to say, like, we're always setting a target. We're always setting a goal. It could be long range. It could be really short range. But at the end of the day, if we don't do that, then I just have to hear for weeks, I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to, when I said at the very beginning, when I said, I believe you can get more work done with less effort and less time.
Yeah.
By doing this simple thing. By having a meeting, a full day meeting to get everyone on board, I save myself time from having to explain what matters most and what's happening over and over again.
Yeah, and just going back to that document, because I think it's so important, because as soon as you actually gave the document and you presented the document, it was very clear on what this stuff is, what should be communicated and what everyone should be doing. And so we printed off a bunch of these copies, right? And we started handing them to people. And the cool part about that is if I am in a part of my week or my month struggling with what my next step is, all I need to do is go back to this document that says, here's what already has been communicated.
Yeah.
And this is the priority.
Yeah.
Now, there are very minute details that need to be talked about and go through discovery, and you figure out what those steps are. But it's very clear that throughout this week, even as this is being recorded on a Monday, that it's very obvious what this week needs to be done based on what you provided.
Yeah.
For those who
So here's the thing that
Yeah.
you just said for everyone who's listening, because this is important, is
yes,
you just acknowledged you know what's going on and you know what matters.
yeah,
Like you just said, I have a paper
right,
that says this is what we're trying to do.
right.
And so I know what's happening and I know my role within it just because there is this paper that describes what we're trying to do.
Exactly. And here's the powerful thing. It's not written in a way that says, VJ, please do this today.
Yeah.
If we do that, do you know how exhausting that would be?
Yes.
To try to do that for an entire organization?
Oh my gosh.
And I know that sometimes it would be easier for us to do our work for that week if it did that, but then we would get little to nothing done. To your point, you said you would just try to make it a little bit better this week than it was last week. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I write it down for you. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But if I come up with the actual, hey, this is what I need to accomplish based on this document, I now have the room to operate in a way that actually connects the dots that we talked about last episode to move the mission forward.
Let me say it like this, because I think you're stumbling upon something great, is to say it as, if you constantly hear we have a communications problem or we have an execution problem, you really have a purpose problem.
Yeah.
You have not communicated, this is what we're trying to accomplish, this is what matters most right now.
Yeah.
But if you have already solved the purpose problem, you've already made it clear, people have been a part of it, this is what matters most right now,
Yeah.
and people are still going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, then you have a personnel problem.
Yeah.
And we acknowledge that piece that I believe great leaders naturally want to find what matters most and to make an impact upon it.
Yeah.
People who are more difficult and don't really have interest in making a contribution to it just kind of go, well, we did this, but I don't really know what role I'm supposed to play. Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got the idea. I laughed, and we've joked about this before. One time we had a team member who said to us, well, they were referencing, they felt like they were being micromanaged by me.
Yeah.
I had stepped into a situation and said, well, if you're going to do that, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Listen, don't tell me that. I am not the person you tell that to, because I don't know why you're here either. On there, and that was one isolated incident,
right.
and
Of
that
course.
person became a phenomenal team member.
Yeah.
But I told them that in that moment.
Right.
I don't know why I'm here. Don't tell me that.
Right.
Figure out your role in this and the contribution you're meant to make.
Right. So last question, and then you can wrap this up. Based on understanding that you don't have a communication problem, what's the way in which you would motivate people to realize that that's not the case? That's not a communication problem. How are you going to motivate them to know that and move past it?
I mean, first, I would share episode 133 of the Leading Hope podcast.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Here, listen to this.
The easiest way I know to do that, I know some people just want to get in a room and say, this is where we're headed. I just don't enjoy that. I don't trust my thinking that much.
Right.
I want to get the whole team in a room and say, the question we answer, not my question, comes from the 4 disciplines of execution. What one thing, if most significantly improved, would make the greatest impact on our organization? What is it? How long is it going to take us to get there? And what will the future look like if we actually accomplish it?
There's the motivation. There you go. All right, wrap it up. 133, you don't have a communications problem.
The symbol. You don't. Everyone complains they have a communications problem. Where leaders complain they have an execution problem. You have a purpose problem. The more time you spend, like, it is time well spent to clarify, this is what matters most. This is the rallying cry right now. I don't know how anyone ever leads without it. So even if it's just this week, spend some time to get your team in the room and clarify what that is right now.
That's great. There you go. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it'd mean the world to us if you did that now. Also, post about it, rate and review, or both. You won't believe how a few extra minutes will help you get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. We love hearing your stories of how the podcast is working in your life and business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.